Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Saints fans of all kinds. We're here on this beautiful Monday night for some Rocket League, and there's no one else I would cast it with other than my good friend on my left, Patrick. How are we doing today?
You know what? We're doing pretty good, and I think the boys are doing pretty good as well, because as we saw over the weekend, CRL Spring champions of North America, sweeping Maryville as well in sweeping fashion. You know what? I was very happy. They very much deserve it, but they have to lock in for this NACE Varsity Premier Playoffs Round 2 versus University of North Texas. We have the team graphics. Throw them on up. Let's see who our lineup tonight is. Shouldn't be any changes, as we see it is the lineup of Arju, Jazzy, and Zai. These guys have been absolutely cooking all year long, acquiring Arju in the spring semester, and well, we've already seen the results have been showing. This is St. Clair's first developer tournament ran championship at the Tier 1 level, and who better for it to go to these guys right here. They've been absolutely nothing short of phenomenal, if I do say so myself.
Phenomenal is an understatement. I mean, these boys have put their work in. They played an absolute stellar regular season so far for NACE, leading up to the single elimination tournament that we now have on our hands. And even in CRL, I mean, putting up the third and the second open first place wins, and surprisingly, it was not Northwood that met us in the finals. It was Maryville. But still, nonetheless, being able to defeat them out in sweeping fashion was all credit to them, all credit to their coaches, all credit to their subs, their team, everybody. And I hear it's going to be celebrated the right way because I hear our esports director will actually be getting a possible tattoo to commemorate such an achievement.
Listen, there's no way you've referenced that on stream, but now that you have, I guess it's out there. I've heard rumors if that is going to happen, whether that's not going to happen, I don't know. What I do know what's going to happen is that we have an pregame interview ready with the coach Shuffleverse as well. He's been absolutely nothing short of amazing so far this season. Shuffle, how you doing? Surface thoughts. I know, you know what, we don't talk about NECC. That's not what the stream is about. It's about NACE playoffs round 2. How's the team doing vibes-wise? You guys are just coming out hot off of a CRL championship run. What are the thoughts going into today's matchup?
We're really comfortable. Like the vibes are great. Everyone is happy, and we can't wait to play this match. We think we're gonna win it, so we're gonna qualify for Florida, and we can't wait to be there.
And then obviously, you know, we've looked at this roster right now. There's no one really that alarms us too much. At the same time, we know that sometimes this team, when they're facing underdogs, can sometimes let games slip. Best of 5 series, so you really got to be on top of your A game. What are the talks like going into a matchup when you do not know your opponents?
We're just gonna stick to our game plan. We're just gonna do what we do best, and we're confident we're gonna win it all. So we're not really worried about it. Like, we're relaxed. Everyone is setting up, and as soon as we enter the match, you will see that how we play.
Indeed, incredible stuff. And you know, talking a little bit with like the staff and the coaches and whatnot, and definitely knowing you guys as a team, you guys take a couple rounds in the first half to kind of get warmed up, get settled in, get the confidence up, and so forth. But coming off of recent NECC game that you just played, we're not going to talk about it too much again. But do you guys feel like you guys are warmed up for this game coming off of that, or do you guys think you're still going to take a little bit of time to get into this game facing off against North Texas?
Now we feel very warmed up, especially after an entire best of 7 where we went to game 7. So we can just straight go in the match and play against them.
All right, interesting stuff, interesting stuff. And then obviously the question has to be asked. I don't think you asked it, Patrick. How do you feel being the CRL spring champion? Like, what's going through your minds? What is it right now that you have to say to all your adoring fans out there?
Thank you, all of my adoring fans, especially Adrian, since he's here like cheering for us. And I'm just really happy about what we accomplished yesterday. It's a really great win for us, especially after all the work we put in this year.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much right now, Shuffle, for your time before this matchup. Hopefully, it's a swift one. It's a good one. Hopefully, we got the Saints taking the dub. And, well, we have a little more pregame analysis to get to, so we'll leave you on your own there. But, Wyatt, now let's talk about this University of North Texas lineup. You were looking at some of the names before. Earlier, we have Pajama Llama, Iceborg, and also Psy as well. That's going to be very interesting, seeing that we have to think about Zai and Psy at the same time. So I guess people at home, if you see us saying those names, you know, try not to get confused. We will work just as hard not to as well. But off surface level glance, what do we think about this lineup?
I think the lineup has definitely shown some promise. I mean, they went 6-1 in their regular season of NACE, which is very impressive. They only dropped one game, I believe, to which it was OC, which is a reputable team that we definitely know. So that was a little bit of a harder game. But looking actually at all of their games so far, none of their games have been relatively close. It's almost as similar to a Saints regular season where most of the games have been 3-1 and 3-0. So this tells me, not knowing any of the members personally on the team, that this is a reputable roster, and in their region, in their section, in NACE, they definitely put the pedal to the metal and dominate the scene.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we were going through it earlier, 6-1 in the regular season, and also Zai was saying, like, oh yeah, I've heard of Pajama Llama before, ironically being that he is actually listed on NACE as the lowest ranked member of that squad in Grand Champ 3, GC3. The rest of the bunch are SSL, but at the same time, I start wondering what the difference in skill between SSLs and SSLs that are competing in Tier 1 events, such as RLCS, what that gap is. And I know it's insanely large. If I were to compare what the gap is, I've said this before, the gap between just hitting SSL and then actually being that good to be able to compete in pro tournaments, like, for example, RLCS, which all three of our players on our roster have, that gap is about as large as the gap from, I want to say, about Plat or Diamond to SSL. So when you really take that skill gap and apply it here, this one, in theory, should be a quick 3-0, but we know that St. Clair, they've shown that sometimes they can't get the job done quite as fast if they start trolling a little bit, but that remains to be seen. Zai has the reset, but cannot connect on the double, and now Arju will have to recollect.
Yep, and correction, it is going to be Pajama Llama, Sai, and Electrowave who will be joining us on the University of North Texas side. See if they can put on a good show for us and put some pedal to the metal against these Saints. Try and get them a little more warmed up, or try and put a little bit of pressure onto them. Sai is on the ball right now, coming off of the wall. Going to try to make something happen. Gets a flip reset off of that, but just can't connect it. Electrowave's going to be doing some great work there, keeping it back on their side over on the Saints. But now it's coming all the way back. Side trying to connect it, but no, other side is now going to try and get on the shot.
They should be on the board first.
They get the first goal on the board.
And you know what? It's very interesting to reference St. Clair. They might be thrown off their game a little bit. Yes, they're fresh off of obviously winning CRL Spring, but at the same time, we received word that they're actually playing this series just after they've lost a Game 7 against Concord in NECC. So Concord, they've got their get back now in NECC, and St. Clair, they're building up right after a loss. And we didn't want to bring it up, at least in the interview, but now seeing that that information has been relayed to us, this makes things all the more interesting. They could definitely be thrown off their game here if they're not too careful, and you have to hope that St. Clair, they can remain with their strong mental. Arju trying to fake for the reset for a low 50, and that'll force out to Zai. Off the ceiling, and he has a flip. He will elect to use it right there. Has the double, clear as day. The backboard defense remaining to be seen from North Texas.
Representing the title beautifully as your CRL Spring champions. Great way to tie it up so far. It's still got a lot of time on the board, so it's still anybody's bet in this best of 5 to see who will take this first game, and it looks like it's going to be a good kickoff goal for the Saints. Sadly, Jazzy was not able to get it by Electrowave, and now he has a little bit of control, but Sai up to it again, has the first touch, has the second touch over one, but now a bump coming through. Pajama Llama off to the side now has a little bit of control as well, but Arju is going to put that to a quick and swift stop.
And the thing with St. Clair, the number one thing that I love about their defense is usually more than times than none, they cut out passing lanes and cut out plays before teams can really start developing them. They see these really early on, and defensively their reads are incredible. Another player who's very incredible right now is Jazzy. He's been very much in form as he has the drop down pass to Zai for the second one on the board. Zai has his brace, Jazzy with the assist.
Yeah, it was just harder for Pajama Llama to try and defend in that situation because he had Arju attempting the shot from up above, and then Sai just ready in the mid. So it's like, do you jump for that? Do you know Arju is going to make that shot? Or do you save your boost and prepare for Sai, who's up next and ready? And I guess the bet just was not in Pajama Llama's favor, but now they've got even more pressure on top of them as Arju tries to make something happen, but it's passed back out. Now going to get back for a little bit of boost, and Sai is going to put a shot on, but no goal just yet. Now they still have a little bit of boost to control with, but just cannot get it past each other. Jazzy gets it over one and gets a demo with it as well. Arju going for the shot and going for the goal from the corner. Great way to take this 3-1.
Well, good boost management, and again, Pajama Llama, it's Jazzy who's going to go through and make sure that he's awkward. Had to jump as well, so didn't have enough time to adjust for the oncoming shot. And that's something that we've been seeing Jazzy do a lot recently, is he's been so aggressive as the first man, just making sure that he keeps the defense on their toes, and it makes things all the more harder when you have St. Clair members, even Jazzy himself that time, putting on clangers like that. Double commit right now from North Texas, but no oncoming traffic, so they have a little bit of time to recollect themselves, and there you go. They catch St. Clair on a little bit of an overextension and overcommit. Pajama Llama puts that one through the heart of St. Clair's net.
Yeah, North Texas have just been able to find these goals through the Saints' defense, through just a couple oversteps, couple too much aggression on their side, and then a little bit of an overextension also. And then also off of kickoff goals like this, they might be able to find something as well, but nothing just yet. And as you said, I have to attribute the Saints' succession so far to Jazzy. I mean, he's been great on the aggressive side, getting demos, getting people out of rotations and out of angles, and getting shots and goals on the board as well, as he puts one on for the Saints, making it 2-4.
You know, it's really funny. Zai's kind of prepping this one up, and he's like, wow, I have this really nice corner double that's just setting up perfectly, and Jazzy's like, nah, Lever, that's mine. Get me on the scoreboard. You can take an assist because I dealt you one earlier. And St. Clair, they re-establish their safety net of 2. Arju looking for this pre-jumping Zai off the backboard. Will not find him, but at the same time, when they do connect on those team plays, we know just how incredible those can turn out. Arju putting another one lofting up, and Zai, he was already up there. Jazzy has to play this one slow, and Arju looking for a little bit of, I believe, a psycho attempt. The demo comes through, and if Arju didn't have that ground pinch for the save, Zai would not have been there to deal with it. We could have had another 1-goal game.
Yeah, North Texas have been putting definitely a game on for them. Not a complete shutout just yet to the side of the Saints, but like you said, they do have that safety net. So this is where North Texas now have to start working, unless Arju is going to work for them and finds another goal. And it's just plays like this where you can take it from the corner, keep control, find it past 2 defenders, and then just 50 out the third, where you can declare yourself a very, very good player in this game.
Well, you know what I mean? Arju's just got to show Pajama Llama that sometimes he's not the strongest one in the gym. Weight room, he says, he moves him out of the way, but right now, Arju again trying to layer on more pressure. I think something that St. Clair does so well is these infield passing plays. They're so hard to read out, especially because you don't necessarily know, because of how good St. Clair is at faking these out as well. If the fake comes through or if the pass comes in, if it's really a shot attempt, that's the #1 thing that a lot of teams have a hard time doing, is reading these St. Clair attacks. Again, that can really only be attributed to the class and, I guess, technique that all 3 of these players respectively have. And now Zai, just see if he can showcase some of his own, gets over 1, but it doesn't matter. Good supportive play there from North Texas. But you have to read the incoming plays. This is good for Electrowave. Can find a shooter inbound, and there it is! Midfield, side, puts one through.
You know, I was about to say, you know, North Texas, you're in a little bit of a sticky situation. Nobody's got any boost, but you know what they do have? A wide open net to get their 3rd goal. And it's moments like that where you don't need all the boost in the world. You just need some good positioning. You need a power shot, and you need a good old open net to keep yourselves in this game. But they've got 15 seconds left, so unless they can muster up 2 goals within this 10 seconds remaining, I don't think this is the game for North Texas. They're going to have to say GG's to this one and pass it on to the next.
Well, you know what? If you're North Texas, you can't let this sort of get in your heads. You've made up a pretty good fight, and I think you just got to keep on hammering those types of performances in, and hopefully St. Clair won't get as lucky with their chances. But what I will say is luck technically isn't a factor. If we look at some of these goals and some of these finishes that we saw, a lot of it happened because of the fact that North Texas looked very awkward on their back line. Usually, sometimes they were a little bit late when it came to getting onto that backboard defense. They had the backboard open a numerous amount of times. Twice to Zai, one that Jazzy stole off of him is what I can recollect. And then again, when we had the Arju play from the ceiling, you know, you're not safe anywhere you go. You're on the backboard, you know, you get burnt. You're on the ground, well, then you have Jazzy coming at you like a heat-seeking missile to try to clear you off your line. And, well, Pajama Llama, he dodged the demo, but at the end of the day, he might as well have been taken out of the play because the goal goes through anyway. He's not in a good position. And that's something that St. Clair is so good at doing, is if you hesitate on that defense, if you don't keep moving in your rotations and you stall for even just a second, you're immediately out of the play, or you might as well be. So that's something that a lot of defenses struggle with St. Clair. That's something that we saw a lot of at the highest level in that CRL weekend, and you're seeing it a little more frequently on display here. But now the kickoff comes through, and a new game has begun. So hopefully North Texas, they can adapt.
Arju has a little bit of control here. Gonna try to get it past Pajama Llama, but needs a little bit of assistance there from Jazzy. Now Sai finds himself trying to get up to it, does, but gets 50 out. Now keeps control out of their hands, passing it to Arju. Looking for a pinch off the side, passes it up, but another demo coming out too early on from North Texas. And now Sai is going to find it over Sai, and Arju has to get back quickly enough to try and save it. Now he has control again, and try to pass it out to Jazzy. It looks like they're just playing a little bit of a game of tiki-taka right now, trying to keep it out of front of their net. And now Arju's going to get it past one defender, down to Sai, looking to touch it. Again, he does, down to Jazzy, but no! Pajama Llama is there to make the save, but you know what? Sai, he's got the angle, and he's got the read.
You know, it is really tough. I was going to comment on the demo plays we were seeing earlier from North Texas, and it looked very good, very promising. The last time we saw them create a demo play, Arju had to make a ground pinching save through the smoke to be able to keep one off the scoreboard. So I like to see the aggression, but sadly, North Texas, they overcommit a little bit, and they end up getting burnt. And now St. Clair trying to see if they can reestablish that safety net they had in game number 1. Is now Arju has to take a challenge, and it goes over to that left side. Jazzy off the back wall, has Zai up in the air, and Arju's going to try to feed. Maybe I thought a pre-jump, but no, it takes a direct shot instead, and it completely confuses everyone on North Texas. We see that none of them really had the boost to deal with it. Pajama Llama 2 with 0 on that left side. It was just unfortunate, but no one had the numbers, or at least soon enough, to deal with the oncoming shot. Arju just sneaks one past and moves the Saints up 2-0.
Yeah, just a little bit of an ugly rotation there from North Texas. Got to clean it up a little bit to keep alive in this game, and they almost lost another life there, but it's great from Sai to keep them alive. 2 goals down, just to have a world of time to play with, and they're going to try to put one on net. Doesn't find one just yet. Jazzy's going to be there to clear it out, but Electro Wave down to Pajama Llama, up, looking to find it over Arju, but Arju has your number and has the read. He's going to take the side boost as well, and Jazzy doing a little bit of a turtle right there to try and find the ball. Now trying to pass it out again, but it seems to be stuck in this corner for the moment on the side of North Texas.
Well, again, now as the play just slows down Arju, he's got time. Looks like he's going to go for the ceiling pinch, and does this get past a couple of defenders? Yes, but Electro Wave back and sends one of his own. Let's just go ceiling pinch for ceiling pinch. Sai, why not? Give it to him. Aaron touch. And Electro Wave with the ceiling pinch is just too much for the St. Clair defense to deal with. Zaya's third man creeped up a little too far and wasn't able to deal with the speed that North Texas was able to put on it.
Electro Wave here to say, you know what, Arju? That was a pretty good ceiling pinch. Let me show you how I do it. And he did it absolutely beautifully. Now, they're only a goal down, so they still have a lot of time and a lot of opportunity here. Great opportunity here. Actually, Pajama Llama looks to take it from the ceiling, but does not find it in. But what he does find is that very irritating sound when you hit the post of the net. I cannot tell you how many times hitting that in the game myself, I have just wanted to put the controller down and go to bed.
Well, you know what? It is a tough thing to hear. It's even tougher to witness firsthand. North Texas, that opportunity was a good one. They'll have to try to create some more. But again, those chances were freed up because the demo went down. So we're seeing a repeat right now that when North Texas gets on the offensive side of things and causes some explosions to happen, well, what do you know? Good things tend to follow. Right now, Jazzy has some control, but he gives it over to Pajama Llama. The clear goes through. This should be a redirect on net, and that it is. James. Sweetness on the touch as he finds the third for St. Clair.
Beautiful redirect right there. No defenders were back, had an open net, and just said, you know what, let me just slide it in. Now they find a 2-goal lead with 2 minutes left. North Texas on the back foot, have to find some traction here, and Sai might be looking to start it. He's on the ceiling, looking for a little bit of a musty there. Finds it past one, but doesn't find it past Arju. Both defenders have boost, but do they have positioning? It looked like they almost had that on the net. But now, Sai up there, trying to get it past one. Let's get demoed out. And looks like we have a little bit of a clash in the net. Looks like Jazzy, and I believe that's Sai, are stuck there right now for a couple moments.
Well, you know what? They won't be stuck for very much longer because Sai is going to be able to put one home. 4-1, your score with 1:30 left. St. Clair wins this. They go on to series point. North Texas, you have a lot to prove in these last 92 seconds. See how much they can get done, but at the same time, I will say they've been putting up a good fight. Offensively, there are some chances that I believe they should have maybe had, namely the Pajama Llama sealing attempt, but even then, you put one through and, well, it's still going to be probably 4-2. So it's unfortunate, but North Texas, they need to find more consistent offense. An air dribble bump could be something that saves them out, but the opportunity is missed out now. Arju, in a little bit of an awkward position, uses the crossbar to aid him in that clear. Zai moving down is going to just flip cancel as he knows it's just not the right opportunity just yet. And Arju left hanging. A good offensive attempt. The demo goes through. It's a follow-up, but it does not matter. North Texas, when they have aggression in the first man, good things happen. Look at that. The demo gets cleared out. The defender from St. Clair, unable to do anything, has to just watch as Pajama Llama slots that one through the uprights.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and North Texas have now figured that out. But can they keep it up for the next 50 seconds that remain? Let's see if truth can be told. Arju has control of the ball, has one touch, has two touch, has a
Oh
free
my
set,
God.
and gets it in with an assist out from Sai. It looked to be a great way to take control.
The team pinch?
And just
Are you kidding
nailing
me?
it in. I mean, we talked about Jazzy before, being that heat-seeking missile, was just able to help Arju in that situation. And now we find ourselves in an exact scoreline as last game, and also a quintuple fake, I believe, there from everybody on the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to count him out, that definitely could be the name of the course. But right now, Zai dribbling over one. It's really good from Pajama Llama, is just trying to cause that corner chaos. But St. Clair trying to clear out. Zai has time, but needs to be very careful. Good low 50s, but Sai is also doing good on his own right. Jazzy off the ceiling, Arsenal flip reset, trying to force a low 50, but will not find it. The bump comes through instead. But at the same time, with 8 seconds left to go and 3 goals up, this one is all but over. Jazzy, one more attempt at a team pinch with Arju, but does not matter. The result stays the same. St. Clair, they move on to their series point in so far, yet expected, dominant fashion.
Dominant fashion indeed, and I mean, I know we questioned how they would perform in this game a little bit. You know, they just came off with a CRL Spring Championship win, and then they just had a little bit of an upsetting game in NECC, so there were some mixed emotions there. Like, are they going to be confident going to this game? Are they going to be a little bummed out that they lost their last one? But so far, it looks like they haven't been really affected by that at all, and they've been doing great. And also, North Texas, they've been putting on the best that they can. You know, some great opportunities there with some team plays, and then also some attempted solo plays, as we saw out by Pajama Llama. But it's just the connection that needs to happen. You need to be very accurate with those shots and with communication, and also working together as a team to actually come close to facing a team like St. Clair.
Yeah, you know, it is tough. There were opportunities there for North Texas to capitalize on, but I think we're just kind of seeing the results of a team that's just more clinical at the end when it comes down to the big rush finishes. And now, a pinch coming through from Pajama Llama. It's going to have to cause Arju to have the catch. The team pinch comes through. It's a bouncer. Should be doable as Electro Wave. Not troubled by the oncoming attempt. And now Arju off the corner trying to find a redirect play up to, I believe, a free jumping Jazzy. But now Electro Wave with the control. Has a reset, tries to go for the 50 instead, and now Sai is in a very awkward position. St. Clair definitely looked a lot more aggressive in the control for midfield touches, and well, that's not very surprising, noting what we've seen from them all season thus far.
You know, trying to get a little bit creative on that play, trying to connect something with the three of them. That's definitely been something that's been the deciding factor here between these two teams. You know, I've seen North Texas, oh my lord, lordy god, it's coming down all the way from the other side, didn't even get to finish my point. Arju just there with a pinch, which it looked like with Pajama Llama as well, just fizzling right down into North Texas' net.
But you know, that's unfortunate. Pajama Llama, I get it. You're trying to cause the 50, you're trying to force the ball to the center, and maybe an infield shooter can take advantage and create an opportunity for you, but in the end, you've just, well, inadvertently created an opportunity for St. Clair. They move up 1-0, and now the onus is on North Texas to create the pressure, and in doing so, they're going to have to overextend and most likely risk the overcommits in order to generate offense. Right now, Arju trying to see if St. Clair can just not even give them that chance, but now Pajama Llama moving it down, has a pass inside, but it's just going to be left to the third man. Sai on the ceiling, has the pinch, but it's not on target. Jazzy doing good to get there.
Doing good indeed. North Texas are good at keeping some pressure up right now. So let's see if Arju can relieve some of that. Looks like he's not going to be able to just yet, because Jazzy now has to be up with it. Doesn't have any boost. Now Sai trying to keep it as well. North Texas has been great so far at keeping the pressure on and keeping it on the Saints side, and Saints just haven't been able to find a lot of boost. Now they have a little bit. See if they can mount a counterattack. As Sai trying to get up there, as well as Jazzy. Looks like they collided themselves, and now Sai has to make a good save there to try and get it out as well. But North Texas having a pool of opportunities so far to get it on the net, having so much pressure mounted up on them, but it's going to take a moment like that where Arju almost sinks it in, but now Sai is able to find an equalizer.
Well, you know what? It's good that they're making St. Clair pay for these opportunities, because it's tough, but the double reach should usually be coming through there, whether it's on net or not, even a center ball. You're just trying to stop anything but that from happening, but Sai, good job in reading the miss and finds a freebie for North Texas as they have their equalizer. Definitely a lot of weight off of their shoulders now. And maybe another opportunity for themselves to capitalize on. Sai trying to deal with it, and right now I'm really looking through. Electrowave is going to have to be all pressure going on to him, because no one is back, at least with boost. Sai using the backboard to aid him in the clear. He had nothing in the tank, but right now St. Clair, they look like they're opening back up on offense. The reset over one. Zai can find the carryover. It was a beautiful transfer of ball control, but sadly St. Clair, they weren't able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, no, a little bit of a collision there with Jazzy.
Great
Sai,
save.
but great save, absolutely coming off from Sai now. Trying to mount a little bit of pressure onto the side of North Texas, but Pajama Llama is going to be keeping it in the midfield. Arju, though, has a little bit of control over him. Control over two. Looking to fight over the third, but no, Pajama Llama is back to stop that as a halt. Sai trying to touch that in the air, but no, Electrowave is going to find it past him. Now Jazzy has a little bit of control there, but Pajama Llama is going to bang it out to the side of Saints. And now Arju in the mid. Has a banger down, trying to connect it with Jazzy, but doesn't find anything just yet.
Redirect.
Might find a redirect there, does not. And now Electrowave has control, has a boost, tries to find it over Jazzy. He does, but can he find it to one of his teammates? No. The closest one is Pajama Llama, and looks like Pajama Llama is going to be beaten out by Sai.
A musty attempt right now from Zai. Can he get it on target? Almost off the backboard. Would have been your shot of the night. But with 45 left to go, things remain all even up until maybe now. Zai, the reset attempt, and then Jazzy was there for the follow-up, and right now he's still lofting in midair. They're trying to see if they can connect, but it's just a little too much to be asked of them. Arju remains in control, gets called off as Jazzy has the 50 and the beat. A good job of using the pre-flip to find the centering ball, but Zai just simply can't find the angle off the backboard just yet.
Might find a shot here, almost out, but a great save out from Electrowave. And now he has a little bit of control, but doesn't have the boost though, and it's gonna be banged out to Arju, who has the beat over one, but not over Pajama Llama. It's in the front, has the shot, and Sai has the goal. And this is a great example of Saints keeping control in front of the net to allow them this opportunity. North Texas just didn't have any shape on that ball, and you wanna know what? One thing led to another, and now the Saints are up with 3 seconds left.
Well, you know what? Zai, a very good sniper in his own regard. You could not place him any better, and now North Texas needs to keep this one up if they want to see anything to do with it. This is actually a good opportunity. Can the double be found? No, not quite, and even then, if there was just 1 second left on the board, the backboard might have been open for another pass in field. I really do think North Texas, they caught St. Clair lacking there, but they just didn't have the time on their side. And as of right now, that's going to be wraps. St. Clair, they take the series 3-0, but so close, yet so far for North Texas.
Yeah, and we talk about that about a lot of these cards that are wild cards to us, and as well as the Saints team. They have that opportunity to upset because the Saints are going to go into this thinking, you know what? We've never heard of them. Maybe they're an okay team. Looks like they're all SSLs. Maybe they'll give us a little bit of a challenge. If you are that team that they mistaken as like a okay, yeah, we'll beat them, you have that opportunity so huge to be able to upset them because they're not going to be going into that thinking, oh, this is a world class team. We're going to be have to are going to have to be on our A game here. They're going to be on their B or their C game there. So you have that opportunity, and as you said, North Texas definitely had that. There was a lot of overextension from St. Clair and a lot of opportunities like Electrowave almost had to tie that up and send it to an overtime, but you know what? It just wasn't meant to be. The Saints take another win to themselves under their belt, and I hear we've got a little bit of stats to just amalgamate what that game actually was and how it looked. Let's take a look right now. 2-1, and so far, Arju setting up the most shots on the side of the Saints.
Yeah, and at the same time, correct me if I'm wrong, but all three, in my opinion, were firing on all cylinders here. Zai, I believe, had the most goals in the series. That's not anything new that we're used to. He's such a great striker in his own right, and again, it seems like Arju was just kind of the floor general, and that's a role that we're kind of used to seeing Arju fill. He's usually the one who creates space for plays to be created. So I know it's not really. I don't really have better analogies to make up there, but he really simply is just a midfielding maestro. There you go. So again, now we also have an interview with one of our players from St. Clair. Let's see who it is. And oh God, it's Jazzy. Well, what's going on, James? I mean, I'm sorry I say that, but you know what? Listen, I've heard rumors. You know, we're gonna drop those. You are here for this interview today, sir. How are you feeling? Just coming off of a series win in NACE playoffs, you take down North Texas.
Yeah, I'm feeling great. Now we're officially qualified for NACE finals in Florida, so we're pretty happy about that. Can't
Yeah,
complain, definitely.
no, absolutely. You know what? It's always fun to go to LAN. I just want to ask you right now, when it comes to being on LAN, do you have prior experience with that? And if you don't, what do you think is going to be the most fun thing about going to LAN? And also the most annoying thing about going to LAN? And actually, I will correct myself. I know you were at that Kentucky LAN earlier.
Yeah. Honestly, in my career, I've been to many lands. If I had to guess, it was probably like 15, maybe at this point.
Right.
15 lands. So I would say I'm pretty experienced in lands. The most annoying thing, definitely the travel. I don't like traveling at all. I mean, I do, but also not at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get you.
Like, I like being at new places, but like the traveling process itself, like when you're like on an airplane and you have like tight leg space, or you're like stuck in a car for some hours, not really my favorite part. But seeing Florida for the first time in my life, I'm extremely excited for that. Like 100%. That's why we qualify for these lands. That's our main target. Why we came here to Canada.
Absolutely. I mean, there you go. You're living it up big now as you should. And, well, especially you, because I will have to say, sir, in recency, you are very much in form. You've been looking absolutely phenomenal in game. We saw CRL Championship Sunday. You were voted as the MVP for the desk. And, well, now we have some stats to show for you in this series. Apparently, you're MVP today. As you were doing nothing short of setting up your teammates with key opportunities for assists throughout these games on 8 shots, and also creating a lot of space as well for the other two to cook. A lot of the times I see you usually blitzing the back line, making sure defenders are either without boost or off their position. When fitting into a role like that or doing plays like that, what's the mindset going into it? Like, are you just demo hungry? Is that just sort of what you are, just a shark in the water? Or is it just more that you have this blissful feeling as you go to destroy your enemies?
Honestly, it's mostly just like improvised. Like depends on the series to series. For example, on CL, I felt like I need to do more on the ball, so I did that. Like today, just demo again or just do whatever I want in the moment. Honestly, like I try to like not think as much as I used to think about the game, and that's the key for me personally. Just don't think, just play, do whatever feels right in the exact moment, and that's how I do my performances most of the times, and I'm glad it works well right now.
Well, you know what they say, a calm mind is usually a good mind. That's something that you need to have in Rocket League, especially when I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The game at this level, it really is more like 60% mental. It's
Hun-
just
hun-
who's better mentally on the day, right? And if you have that, that's usually where you're going good from there. I mean, why, do you have anything to add on?
Yeah, I wouldn't
I
say
mean,
it's 80%.
I just want to ask, like, going into this, how did you guys feel coming off of the CRL Spring Championship win? And then your last game in NECC, was there a little bit of confusion there? Like, did you guys still have the hype of the championship riding on your backs going into this? Or did that kind of die out in your last game?
Honestly, I think it's tough to like have an NECC game like Conquer today, like one day after championship.
Yeah.
Since we low-key celebrated yesterday, and we might not be able, like, we're not in a fully right mindset to like compete. You know what I mean? So that's definitely tough. But that's competitive. You just gotta like be on top and be on your form 24/7. Today in NECC, we unfortunately couldn't, but at least we made NACE players.
There you go. Sometimes that's all there is to it. Well, we hope you keep in form as you have been so far, thus forth on stream, Jazzy, and we wish all of you and the rest of the boys a very good luck through the rest of your NACE adventures. But
Yeah.
congrats on the CRL championship, and it's always a pleasure to call your games.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for casting today. Have a good night.
And now, as we get down to the end of it, well, Wyatt, I want to thank you for joining me on the desk. It's been an absolute pleasure. You're going to be seeing this duo a whole lot, Saints fans, at least this week. We checked, I believe, another 2 times this week. We're going to be on the desk for our Academy Rocket League Grand Finals and also our Varsity Premier Valorant Playoffs Round 2.
Indeed.
But
it's going to be pretty interesting. If you Saints fans at home, if you love the swag and smoke combo,
yes,
expect some more. If you guys aren't interested in that, sorry, I don't know what to say, but it's going to be a
For that.
great week of some more Valorant and some more Rocket League as well. And also a little bit of anticipation and excitement for this Saturday. We have our Saints Gauntlet Series Overwatch LAN tournament, which I know you're going to be hosting, and I think I'm going to be casting
yes,
as
I
well.
believe so.
That is going to be very interesting to see.
Yeah, it is. You know, it's always awesome when we have lots of schools coming down here showing love and also competing here at the Nexus. There really is nothing else like it. So anybody, if you're in the area and you feel like coming down and you're sort of questioning whether or not you should show up, definitely do. The atmosphere is nothing short of breathtaking down here. So please, guys, this Saturday, 10 a.m., show up, show out, and root for your Saints at SGS. But that's going to be all from me and Swag Studios Wyatt today. So we want to thank all the fans for watching. We want to thank everybody in the back room. I believe it was Theo, Matthias, and Adrian helping out today. Thank you to all the players and the coaches from North Texas University and also from St. Clair for competing and putting on a show. Thank you, Wyatt, for casting with me. And thank you to our sponsors, Alienware, Tim Hortons, Subway, SRC, and the SCC Alumni Association. And that's going to be all from us here at Saints Gaming. Signing out, it's been me, Patrick Smoke Chambers, and Wyatt Swag Studios Rapson. Have a good night, Saints Nation.